A very good afternoon to all of you once again. My name is Balasaheb Doyifode. I am CEO Scope T&M Private Limited, and I welcome you for this Substation Saturdays webinar series that Scope is bringing to you. First and foremost, my greetings to all of you on the auspicious day of Ghata Sthapana today. From today, the Navratri festival is starting. In this gloomy season of COVID pandemic, I sincerely believe that this festive season will bring the cheers and the gods of heavens to shower the blessings of theirs, and the things will get better sooner than the later. Today, I have my colleague with me, Bhalchandra Kshirsagar, who is going to conduct the presentation. He will be supported by experts, Bhaskar Arabali, who is the in charge for the product specialist, and Aman Kumar, who is the in charge for the testing, installation, and the commissioning of the control switching devices. Friends, you all know that Scope has always made an endeavor to bring newest technologies to India. There are various technologies that we had brought, we had established, we had indigenously developed as well, and which are proving to be a very good benefit for the utilities across country. Today we are going to talk about one such technology, which is the control switching. Now, this technology has been brought by Scope to India in collaboration with Visimax from Canada, who is the designer and the original equipment manufacturer for this particular product. We will understand the benefits of the control switching device, but then this control switching device definitely has a potential of revolutionizing the life not only of the circuit breaker, but also taking care of lot of ill effects because of the random switching, and how by using the control switching strategy we will be able to save not only the life of the circuit breaker, but also a lot of other downstream equipments which are affected. This control switching was in a large scale was first implemented in India by Power Grid. And I think almost 5 to 6 years back, when Power Grid decided that they would like to implement this control switching device for the existing substations, starting with the reactor application, transformer application. That was the period when Scope associated with the Power Grid. And till today, we have supplied almost more than 600 number of control switching devices, which are successfully running across the length and breadth of the country. The reliability of the product is so fantastic that out of the 600 units, there was only one failure that was reported, and that also more related to the auxiliary functioning of this particular product. Otherwise, it's very reliable and ruggedized product. There are a lot of other utilities which are going with the idea of implementing the control switching device. Some of them are already implementing. But we believe that there is still tremendous amount of scope left for the other utilities to catch up as far as the widespread usage and the implementation or the deployment of the control switching devices is concerned. We had already conducted the trials for the line application of control switching device as well. Of course, for the transformer and the reactor, they are widely being used. When it comes to transformer, the conventional strategy was the voltage peak strategy, but then we are also offering the solution which uses the residual flux measurement and which brings down or which enhances the efficiency or the ability of the control switching tremendously, and it brings down the inrush currents of a transformer significantly, practically to a level which are insignificant. So friends, once again, welcome you all. We are thankful to you that you decided to take the time out from your busy schedule and spend this time with us. Let me assure you that your time will be well spent here. We are conducting this webinar series every almost alternate Saturdays. Please be on lookout for our marketing inputs or information about the future webinars that we are going to conduct. We are going to talk about a lot of exciting technologies, measurements, solutions. So we would be very happy to have you back for all the webinars that we are conducting. As we had informed you in the past, we are also conducting another series exclusively for the users of our T&M instruments. Those who are using our T&M instruments, we are conducting a separate series of webinars for them, which is conducted by our customer support group, which is focusing more on the how to use the product to the best of its ability. Because in utilities, there are changes which take place. People get transferred, new people join, take the responsibility of the products. So it is our endeavor that once we had sold the product to you, we will be giving you training and retraining so that the product is always used. So that's the parallel series which is continuing. I'm sure some of you are already part of that. So with this, I hand over the proceedings to Bhalchandra. Over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And hello, everyone. My name is Bhalchandra Shirsagar, and I'm working here in Scope as a commissioning engineer for control switching device. So, in our today's session, we will give a brief introduction to control switching device and the use of control switching device in our power system. So, as well as we will see the why we are using the control switching device in our power system, as well as we will see what is a control switching, what is a random switching. After that, we will see how the Synchrotech point-on wave switching works, means how the control switching device works. Then we will see the circuit breaker operation and its relation with the control switching device, how they are interrelate with each other. So we will see that, and after that we will see the various applications of control switching device. As we all know, a substantial amount of inductive and the capacitive reactances load that are always associated with our power system. The examples are the shunt reactor, power transformer, capacitor banks, and the transmission lines. These are the type of reactive loads, and we all know when we switch this type of reactive elements, this type of reactive loads, that time they may causes a large disturbances in our power system. At the time of random switching of this type of reactive elements, they create a large switching surges in the power system. This type of large switching surges, disturbances, switching transients will affect on the system stability as well as the power quality of the power system network. So, to minimize this type of switching transients and the switching surges, we are using the control switching device. So, what is the control switching? As we all know, in our existing system, wherever the control switching device that we are not using, that time whenever we give the command, closing or tripping command to the circuit breaker, we don't know at what electrical point the circuit breaker is going to operate. So, we don't have the control on that. But with the control switching device, we are targeting a specific electrical point so that we can minimize the switching disturbances and the switching transient. So, controlled switching is a technique of coordinating the instant of opening or closing of a circuit breaker with a specific target point on an associated voltage or current waveform. So, in other words, control switching device provides the additional capability to a standard circuit breaker to operate the circuit breaker at a precise electrical movement. So that precise electrical movement, that precise electrical target point is different for the different applications. Means that we are targeting the electrical point for the operation of circuit breaker is depend on the type of application. Means for the reactor application, we are using the different target angles. For the power transformer application, we are using the different target angles. Same as for the capacitor bank and transmission line applications, that electrical target point is different. So by using the control switching device, we are targeting, we are trying to operate the circuit breaker at the precise electrical movement. At that moment, if we switch the circuit breaker, the transients, the switching surges will be minimum. So now we will see what are the inputs that are required for the control switching device to do the control switching of any equipment. So in the image you can see this is a control switching device, and now we will see what are the inputs that are required for the control switching. So first of all, we are taking the inputs of close and open command from the TNC switches and the Bay control unit, that is from the SCADA system. So first of all, we have to keep it in our mind that control switching device that we are using only for the manual operation of the equipment. We can differentiate the switching of any equipment in two types. One is the protection operation and other one is the manual operation. So whenever any fault occurs in the system, that time the protection relay will operate and the protection relay will execute the command to the circuit breaker. So at the time of installing of control switching device, we are not disturbing the protection circuit, because at the time of any fault, the isolation of healthy circuit from the faulty circuit is very important. So we are not disturbing the protection circuit. So we are taking the inputs from only from the manual commands. The manual commands are those whenever we are forcefully in or out the equipment for this maintenance purpose, or to regulate or for the regularization of voltage, or any other purpose that we are forcefully in or out the equipment. That command we can say that is the manual command. So we are taking the command from the TNC switches and from the SCADA system. And after that, one another important parameter is that the circuit breaker compensation parameters. As we all know, the circuit breaker mechanical operation is depend on the various parameters. For example, the breaker operating time is depend on the coil voltage, circuit breaker mechanical pressure, and the ambient temperature, as well as the SF6 gas pressure. So all these parameters will affect on the breaker operating time. So to calculate the exact breaker operating time as per the present condition, we are installing the sensors on this to measure all these parameters. So from this sensor, we can put the compensation. We can configure the compensations in the CSD configuration, so that CSD can CSD can get the data from the sensor, and it can automatically compensate the breaker operating time as per the present condition. So at the time of configuration of CSD, we are putting the breaker operating time by doing the timing test, and after that we not need to change the breaker operating time every time. So CSD will automatically calculate by using this compensation data. So we are taking the inputs from this CD compensation sensors. After that, we are taking the other important parameters that we are required. That is the reference of system voltage and the system current. So these two inputs that we are taking from the CTs and the PTs. So CSD is continuously sampling the voltage and the current sample. So CSD have the reference of system voltage and current, and CSD know when the system voltage is going to at peak and it is going to at the zero. So by doing the continuous sampling, CSD taking the reference of system voltage peak, system voltage at the zero, current zero value, current peak value. So CSD have the reference of current and voltage, as well as CSD have the reference of breaker operating time. So whenever CSD will receive the command from the TNC switch or from the SCADA system, CSD will hold the command and CSD will synchronize the breaker operating time with the system voltage or current, and then it will execute the command to the circuit breaker, so that circuit breaker can operate at the precise electrical movement whenever we want to operate the circuit breaker. So we can provide the alarms to the annunciator circuit through the control switching device. So basically these are the inputs and the outputs of control switching device. Here you can see we are taking the inputs from we are taking the open command, close command, and then through the CSD here we are giving the open and close command to the circuit breaker. So CSD is in series between the circuit breaker and the control panel. Now we will see how the synchrotech point on wave switching works, means how the control switching device actually works. So here we can see by this example. Here you can see consider this duct as our sinusoidal waveform, and here you can see the ball. We can consider this ball as a CB contacts. And our target is this point. We want to target this point, and we want to operate the circuit breaker. We want to hit the ball at this particular electrical target point. So by this animation, we can analyze these things. So here you can see we have the reference of this sinusoidal waveform. CSD knows when the target point is coming, and also CSD knows the speed of this ball, that is the breaker operating time. Only the thing that CSD have to calculate, that the movement to release this ball, that is the movement to execute the command to the circuit breaker. So by calculating this particular movement to execute the command to the circuit breaker, we can achieve this target point. So basically this is a principle of operation of circuit control switching device. Control switching device is pre-calculating the movement to execute the command to the circuit breaker, so that we can target a specific electrical movement to operate the circuit breaker. So now we will see the circuit breaker operation and its relation with the control switching device. Now here we can see this is a fixed contact of circuit breaker, this is a moving contact of circuit breaker, and here in graph you can see this is a graph between the distance between these CB contacts and the dielectric strength between the circuit breaker contacts. On this vertical line, this is the dielectric strength, this is the isolation voltage between the circuit breaker contacts, and this is the distance between the CB contacts. So here we can see, with reducing the distance between the CB contact, the dielectric strength between the CB contact is getting reduced. So this is called as the rate of decrease of dielectric strength. So rate of decrease of dielectric strength is the important parameter during the commissioning of control switching device. So here you can see, once the CB contacts are physically in touch with each other, that time the dielectric strength between the contacts is near to zero. Now we will see the closing operation of circuit breaker with the load. So here you can see, this orange graph is a dielectric strength between the CB contact, and this red sinusoidal waveform is a voltage waveform. This is a system voltage waveform. So here you can see, once we execute the command to the circuit breaker, and at this moment the dielectric strength, you can see here, the dielectric strength between the CB contact is less than the system voltage. So at this moment the arcing current starts to flow between the CB contacts. So once the CB contacts are physically in touch with each other, after that we can see here the sinusoidal current will start to flow. So from this operation we have observed that whenever the dielectric strength between the CB contact is less than the system voltage, that time the arcing current is start to flow between the CB contact. So for during the closing operation of circuit breaker, we call this phenomena as a pre-arcing current between the CB contacts, and during the opening of CB contacts also, the arcing current will flow through the CB contacts whenever the dielectric strength between the CB contact is less than the system voltage. So now we will see the controlled opening operation of the circuit breaker. So in the waveform, in this slide, we can see this is the current. This is the system current waveform. This continuous waveform is a system current waveform, and here we can see the waveform is in red. This is a system voltage waveform, and you can see this dark line in the orange. This is the dielectric strength between the CB contact. So here you can see, if we the control open command executed through the CSD. So here we can see CSD executed the command at this point after receiving the command from the TNC switches. So at this point CSD executed the command to the circuit breaker. So from here to here, you can see this is the mechanical opening time, that is the breaker opening time. So you can see here, at this moment the arcing current after opening the circuit breaker contact, CB circuit breaker main contact starts separation from here, and at this moment we can see here, the dielectric strength between the CB contacts is less than the system voltage. Here you can see the waveform is in red, that is the system voltage waveform. So at this moment we can see the dielectric strength between the CB contact is less than the system voltage. So due to that, the current is started from the the current continues to flow at this point. So after opening the CB contacts, once the once the system current goes to the natural zero, at this moment you can see the current is going to the naturally zero. So at this moment, you can see at my cursor position, at this moment the dielectric strength between the CB contact is more than the system voltage. So due to that, there is a no reignition of current after the system current goes to the naturally zero. So this is a controlled opening operation by using the control switching device. So with the control switching device, we have targeted to open the circuit breaker contacts in the reignition free window. So this is, we can call this portion, we can call, this is a reignition free window. Now we will see the opening operation of circuit breaker without using control switching device. Now we will see the control closing operation of CB contacts. So here we can see the waveform is in red. That is this continuous waveform is a system voltage waveform, and the waveform started here is in blue. That is a current waveform. So now we can see the circuit, the control switching device executed the control close command to the CB. At this moment, you can see here this dotted line, CSD executed the command to the CB contact, and we can see here from this point to this point, that is a mechanical closing operation, mechanical closing time of the circuit breaker. That is the closing time of circuit breaker. So once the CSD executed the command to the circuit breaker, we can see here just before the CB contacts gets in physically touch with each other, we can see here this pre-arcing current start to flow through the CB contact. So at this moment, we can see here the CB contacts not physically in touch with each other, but then also at this point, the dielectric strength between the contact is more than the system voltage. So due to that, there is no asymmetrical, no DC offset we have observed here. The current is started very symmetrically. So from this moment only, the current is started to flow between the CB contact. So current is started very gradually and very symmetrically. So this thing we have achieved with the control switching. So we are targeting this point to operate the circuit breaker. So for in this control closing and the opening operation examples, we have targeted the voltage peak points. In our next slide, we will see what the target points that we are taking as a reference for the specific applications. So basically, control switching device that we are using for the shunt reactor application, shunt capacitor bank application, power transformer application, and the transmission line application, we are using the control switching device. Now we will see the application of control switching device for the shunt reactor application. So the main problems associated with the reactor switching, with the shunt reactor switching, are the reignition during the shunt reactor at the time of de-energization of the shunt reactor. So we have observed that during the random opening of shunt reactor, there is a reignition of current between the circuit breaker contacts. So without any mitigation technique, if we randomly switch the shunt reactor, that is statically leads to a systematic reignition of the CB, reignition of the current between the circuit breaker contacts. That reignition of current possibly damage to the nozzle system of the CB contacts. As well as the current chopping generates even higher over voltages that will damage the reactor as well as the circuit breaker contacts. So here we can see the nozzles. We can see here how much the nozzle of the CB contacts here gets damaged after the same operation of the circuit breaker. Here we can see the image in left side. This is the nozzle of the CB of the circuit breaker without using any control switching device, and at the right side you can see with the same operation the nozzle system of the CB contacts by using the control switching device. So by using the control switching device for the de-energization of shunt reactor, we are minimizing the effect of reignition of current between the CB contacts. So the other main issue with the shunt reactor during the random closing of shunt reactor is the whenever we shunt reactors being energized at at voltage 0, that produces the highest current asymmetry. So in this waveform we can see if we close the shunt reactor at the voltage 0 moment, it will produce the high DC asymmetry. Means the current is started at the positive side only or at the negative side only, and after few milliseconds the sinusoidal current will go normally. So after few milliseconds it will be same at the positive side and same at the negative side. But at the starting moment we have observed that the very high DC asymmetry. The current during the random energization of the shunt reactor is near to 3 to 4 times of the full load current at the positive side only or at the negative side only. So we have observed this type of DC asymmetry during the closing of shunt reactor. So for the switching of shunt reactor, basically we are using the two strategy. For the closing, as we know, shunt reactor is a type of inductive load, and we all know inductive load has a property that they opposes the sudden change in current. So if we try to switch the inductive loads at near to the current at T, they produce the high transients in the system. So that we are trying to open or close the shunt reactor near to the current 0. So at the time of closing of shunt reactor, or if at the time of closing of shunt reactor, so CB is in open condition. Due to that, there is no current flowing through the system. So we don't have the reference from the CTs, but we have the reference from the PTs. We have the reference of system voltage, and we all know there is a 90-degree phase shift between the system between the voltage and current for the inductive load. So we know that whenever the voltage is at peak, the current
अभी ट्रेनिंग में हूँ, इसके बाद करके याद देता हूँ.
The current is at current is at 0. So for the closing of shunt reactor, we are targeting the voltage peak points. We are taking the reference of voltage peak angles. But at the opening of shunt reactor, we have the reference of system voltage and the system current also. So for the opening of shunt reactor, we can take the reference angles of the with the
वो
reference
बीच में
of
लाइट चला गया था, लाइट अभी हो गया दोबारा से.
and the reference of voltage also. For the closing of shunt reactor, if we taking the reference of
वो सर कैसे आता है सर, मुझे तो
if we taking the reference of voltage, then we are taking the voltage peak angles, and if we taking the reference of current,
ठीक है
we
सर.
are taking the current zero angles. So this basically this strategy that we are using for the
चैट करके ऑप्शन आ रहा है, लेकिन उसमें कोई भी क्वेश्चन नहीं है.
for the control switching of shunt reactor. So here we are now we will see the actual waveform for the shunt reactor controlled closing. In the waveform, this is the actual waveform that we have downloaded from the control switching device. So here we can see how the result that we have achieved with the control switching device. Here we can see the waveform started from here, from the starting. This is the system voltage waveform, and here we can see the waveform started from this cursor, from this point. This is a current waveform. So as we have already discussed, for the closing of shunt reactor, we are taking the reference of voltage. We are taking the reference of voltage signal. We are targeting the voltage peak points. So CSD have the reference of breaker operating time. If you can see in this waveform, here one graph is one horizontal bar is generated. That is the predicted operating time. That is the breaker closing operating time. And here from this point, at the point from my cursor position, there is a small bar is generated. That is a pre-strike delay. That we know the pre-arcing current will start to flow between the CB contacts. So this pre-arcing timing we are putting after one or two switching at the time of commissioning. So only these things that we need to calculate during the commissioning only. But the predicted operating time, that is the breaker operating time, we can calculate through the timing test of the circuit breaker. So by considering this breaker operating time and pre-arcing time, CSD will execute the command to the CB contact, and CSD try to start this pre-arcing current at the voltage peak point. So here you can see the current is started near to the voltage peak. So due to that, the current is exactly started that our predefined specific target point. We have observed here there is no DC asymmetry in the system current. So here you can see the current is started very gradually and there is no DC asymmetry. So the current is same at the negative side also and at the positive side also. So this is the waveform with the control switching. Now we will see the waveform with the uncontrolled switching. So here we can see you can see the see in this animation after executing the command to the circuit breaker, and at this point the moving contact and the fixed contact are not in physical are not in physically touched with each other, but still there is a arcing current start to flow between the CB contact. So we have targeted to start this arcing current at the voltage peak point, and as per our target the current is also started at this point. So due to that we have not observed any DC asymmetry in the system current. So here you can see this is a waveform with the random closing of shunt reactor. So here you can see this switching we have done by without any reference of system voltage and the system current. So here you can see this the arcing current is started near to the voltage 0 point. You can see here in this waveform, this continuous waveform started from here. This is the system voltage waveform, and the waveform started at this point. This is the current waveform. This arcing current started to flow after closing of the CB contacts. So at this point, you can see the current is started at the exact voltage 0 point. So this is the worst. This is the worst movement for the shunt reactor closing. So this is a so due to that we have observed here the current is started very asymmetrical, and it is near to the 3 times of the full load current, and it is the current is started to flow in positive side only. So after few milliseconds the current is go to the naturally, and after few milliseconds it will flow symmetrically, same in the positive side and same in the negative side. So we can see here, if the shunt reactor at the time of closing of shunt reactor, if the current start to flow near to the 0 point, there is a chance of flowing of starting current more than the 3 to 4 times of the full load current. So this type of to minimize this type of DC asymmetry at the time of closing of the shunt reactor, we are using the controlled switching device. So by targeting the voltage peak point, we can see here, by targeting this voltage peak point, we can minimize this type of DC asymmetry during the closing of shunt reactor. So this is an example for the shunt reactor closing with the control switching and without the control switching. Now we will see the controlled opening of shunt reactor. So here you can see the waveform is in dark blue. You can see here this waveform is continuous. This is the system voltage waveform, and you can see here the waveform is break here. This is the current waveform, and you can see here the line in orange. This is a dielectric strength between the CB contact. So here you can see at my cursor position, this is the synchronization delay. Means whenever the CSD will receive the command from the TNC switch or from the SCADA system, after receiving the command from the TNC switch, CSD will hold the command and it will synchronize the CB circuit breaker operating time with the system voltage, and then it will execute the command. So you can see here, this is the synchronization time delay. So at this moment, CSD after the synchronization delay, CSD has executed the command to the circuit breaker. So you can see here, CSD has synchronized the breaker operating time and calculated the movement to execute the command to the CB less than the 1 cycle. Means less than the 20 millisecond. CSD done all his calculation and executed the command to the CB to the circuit breaker. So CSD have the high sampling speed. With the Vizmax CSD, we have the high sampling speed, that is 167 samples per second. So between the 1 cycle to 1.5 cycle, CSD will done all this calculation and executed the command to the CB. So there is a no considerable delay, that much of delay in between the operation of circuit breaker. So we can see here at this moment, CSD executed the command to the circuit breaker. So here predicted operating time graph is predicted operating bar graph here is generated. You can see here from this point to this point. So, and after this point we can see here this is a arcing zone. This is a arcing time. So at this moment from this point to this point, this is a breaker opening operating time. So at this moment, we can see here in this at my cursor position. At this moment, the CB contacts are separated physically from each other. So at this moment, we can see here the dielectric strength between the CB contacts is less than the system voltage. So due to that, the current is continuously flow through the system. So after that, after this point, we can see here from this point to this point, the current is continues to flow between the CB contact. But after reaching the system current goes to the naturally zero. At this moment, we can see the dielectric strength between the CB contacts is less. Dielectric strength between the CB contact is more than the system voltage. We can see here the waveform is in dark. This is a voltage waveform, and we can see this line in orange. This is the dielectric strength. So at this point, the dielectric strength between the CB contact is more than the system voltage. So due to that, there is a no reignition after once the current goes to the naturally zero. So by opening the CB contact in the reignition free window, we have avoided the reignition of current between the CB contacts. So this is the waveform and the switching operation by using the control switching device. Now we will see the random opening operation of the shunt reactor. So this is the waveform we have recorded when the CSD is in out of service mode. So here we can see the waveform is in dark, that is started from here. This is a system voltage waveform, and the waveform is in light blue. This is a current waveform which is break here. So here we can see this is a breaker operating time. From here, this is a predicted operating time, that is breaker opening time. So CSD executed the command here without taking any reference of system voltage, because the CSD is in out of service. So CSD executed the command near to here, near to this point. So here you can see this is a graph generated, that is a predicted operating time. So at this moment, the CB contacts are separated from each other. So you can see if you can see my cursor position. At this point, you can see here near to here the CB contacts, circuit breaker contacts are separated from each other. So at this moment, you can see the dielectric strength, that is the line in orange. You can see my cursor position. At this moment, you can see the dielectric strength between the CB contact is less than the system voltage. So due to that, the current is continuously flow between the CB contacts. So at this moment, we can see here the current is goes to the naturally zero, but still at this moment we can see here the dielectric strength between the CB contact is less than the system voltage. So you can see here this point. So here we can see the dielectric strength between the CB contact is less than this system voltage. So due to that, there is a reignition we have observed here. So the current is again reignited between the CB contacts, up to the next half cycle. So you can see this portion. This is this phenomenon we can call as the reignition of current. So from this point to this point, that is near to half cycle, the arcing current continuously flow between the CB contact. So once again the arcing current goes to the here we can see the naturally zero. At this point we can see now the dielectric strain between the CB contacts is more than the system voltage. So here you can see here we can see the dielectric strain between the CB contact is more than the system voltage. So due to that, from this point there is a no reignition of system current we have observed. So by opening we have from this operation we can see without any reference, if we do without any reference of system voltage, if we do a reactor opening, there is a chance of reignition of current between the CB contacts. So by using the control switching device, we have completely eliminated the chances of reignition of system current between the CB contact. So basically, these two strategies that we are using for shunt reactor application, we are trying to close the shunt reactor near to the voltage peak, voltage peak points, and we are trying to open the CB contacts near to the current zero and in the reignition free window for the opening of shunt reactor. So now we will see the control switching device for the power transformer application. So as we all know, the main problem associated with the power transformer, random switching of power transformer, is the high inrush current during the energization of power transformer. That is during the no load energization of power transformer. Means whenever the secondary side is open and we are energizing the power transformer without any load, that time we have observed the very high inrush current in the power transformer. So if we consider our 400 kV, 765 kV system, there is a large rating of power transformers near to 500 MVA, 1500 MVA rating power transformer. So the full load current for these power transformers is very high. So we have seen there is a high inrush current they are taking during the energization of the power transformer. The main reason for this high inrush current is that whenever we de-energizing the power transformer, it keeps some residual flux in the iron cores of the power transformer. So this residual flux affect the inrush current magnitude at the next energization of the power transformer. Means whenever we are randomly de-energizing the power transformer without any reference of system voltage, at that we don't know how much the residual magnetic flux that available in the iron cores of the power transformer. So in this waveform you can see we can see the relation between the magnetic flux and the system voltage. As we know, the voltage and the magnetic flux are the integral with each other. Means whenever the system voltage is at peak, the magnetic flux is near to its minimum point. So here you can see the system voltage is at peak, and you can see here at this point the magnetic flux is near to its minimum point. So the main thing causes for the high inrush during the energization of power transformer is the residual flux available in the power transformer core. So for the power transformer application, we are trying to open the circuit breaker contacts. We are trying to de-energize the power transformer with a minimum residual flux available in the transformer core. So we are trying to open the power transformer near to voltage peak point, so that there will be minimum residual flux in the transformer core, and the transformer will take a very minimum current for the power transformer will take a very small magnetizing current that is needed for its magnetization. So we are trying to open the power transformer near at the voltage peak, means at near to the minimum residual flux, and also we are trying to close the power transformer at the same point by adding the minimum magnetic flux in the transformer core. So basically the strategy that we are using for the power transformer. So if transformers are normally energized by arbitrarily closing the circuit breaker contacts with the system voltage being applied on the power transformer windings at random instant. If we consider the random instant and we de-energize the power transformer, we don't know at what electrical angle the CB contacts will get open and what the magnetic flux available in the transformer core. So to avoid that, we are using the control switching device. So here, as we discussed the target points that we are using, that we are trying to close and open the CB for the control switching of power transformer. Now we can see the effect or the worst case with the power transformer, or with the power transformer, which will causes the higher inrush current. So in this waveform, we can see here at my cursor position, you can see this is a voltage waveform. This is a voltage waveform and this is a magnetic flux. So if we open the power transformer near to the voltage 0, you can see here, at this moment the prospective flux at the power transformer core is at maximum value. You can see here, if we open the power transformer at this moment, the prospective flux in the transformer core is near to 1 pu. So, and again, if we try to close the power transformer near to voltage 0 instant, means again we are trying to add the 1 pu flux in the power transformer. So due to that, there will be a chance of saturation of transformer iron core, and due to that, there is transformer core will take the highest inrush current for the magnetizing. You can see here, if we switch the power transformer at this moment, you can see here transformer will take the highest inrush current at this moment. So this is the worst case with respect to the highest inrush current for the power transformer application. So we are with the control switching device, we are trying to avoid these things. So for the power transformer application, as we have already discussed, we are using the what strategy that we have using. Basically, we are using two strategy for the energizing of power transformer. One is the fast closing energizing strategy. So this strategy is we are basically used only on the individual pole operated circuit breakers. We are trying to close the one pole at the voltage peak. We are trying to close first at the making instant that produces the magnetic flux equal to the residual flux present in the corresponding of transformer core. Means for the control closing of power transformer, the opening is also a very important thing. Means first of all, we have tried to open the power transformer with a known residual flux in the transformer core, and at the time of energization we are trying to close the CB contacts at these same points, so that if we open the R pole first at near to the peak point, and then after the few millisecond delay we are opening the Y and B pole, then same pattern we are using for the closing of the power transformer, so that there is no asymmetry in the residual flux, in the magnetic flux of the in the transformer iron core. So we are trying to first close the R phase and then Y and B pole. The another one method that we are using, that is a delayed closing energizing strategy. So in the delayed closing strategy is also based on the use of individual pole operated circuit breaker. It is the same strategy as the fast closing as the previous. The difference, the only difference with the delayed closing strategy is that we are giving the delay in between the R phase operation and the Y and B phase operation. So this longer delay allows the mitigation of the core flux DC asymmetry. So resulting from the presence of residual flux in the two windings guidelines and the best practices for the commissioning and operation of the control switching projects. So by adding the delay, we are trying to mitigate the core flux DC asymmetry. So this will help to minimize the reduce the induced current during the charging of power transformer. So we are giving the 1.5 cycle delay in between the one phase, between the R phase and the Y and B phase. At the time of commissioning only, we are finalizing this how much delay we can give in between the in between the R and Y and B pole. So during the commissioning, at the time of commissioning, by observing the waveform, we are finalizing all these settings. So basically, for power transformer application, we are trying to open the power transformer near to the voltage peak points. Firstly, we are trying to open the R phase and then Y and B phase. And again, at the time of closing, we are using the same strategy, that we are trying to close the power transformer near to the voltage peak point, and by adding some delay, we are closing the Y and B pole. So with this two method, we have another method also that we are using, that is called the actual calculation of residual flux in the power transformer. Please, for that we are installing the bushing sensors at the tan delta point of power transformer, so that this bushing sensor will calculate the residual flux available in the power transformer by taking the reference of voltage at the time of de-energization of power transformer. So automatically calculating the residual flux available in the power transformer, they can CHD can decide the closing angles for the next energization of power transformer. So in our first two methods, we are taking the theoretical concept that at voltage peak, we know that the residual flux in the power transformer will be minimum, but in the actual calculation of residual flux, we are directly calculating the available residual flux in the power transformer by installing the pushing sensors at the tan delta point of power transformer. So basically, this two strategy that we are using for the control switching of power transformer. Now we will see the actual waveform for the power transformer switching. So here you can see this is the waveform with the random switching of power transformer, with the random de-energization of power transformer. Means before this closing event, at the time of when we have opened the CB contacts, that time we don't know at what electrical angle, at what electrical point the CB contacts gets opened. So we don't know that how much the residual flux that available in the power transformer core. So at the time of opening also we don't have control on that, and during this random operation also we don't have any control on the closing of the CB contacts. So due to that, due to this random operation, you can see here how much inrush current we have observed in the during the energization of power transformer. You can see here we have combined all the three phases graph here, current graph here. This graph in red, this is a R phase waveform. The graph is in green, this is the Y phase waveform, Y phase current waveform, and the graph is in blue, this is a B phase current waveform. So here you can we can see this is a we can see here for Y phase the inrush current is more than the 3 times of full load current. So this is the waveform we have recorded for the CSD that we have installed in the JETCO substation for the 400 kV system and 500 MVA transformer. The full load current for that transformer is near to 700 ampere. So so we can observe only in the positive side more than the three times of the full load current, the transformer taken the 3 times of full load current, high inrush current. So without any control switching device, we have observed this type of inrush current during the energization of power transformer. For the R phase, you can see the inrush current value is near to the 2 times of full load current, and for the B phase, you can see it is near to the full load current. So without any load, only the charging, only at the time of no load charging only, we have observed this type of inrush current, in power transformer application. So now we will see the waveform with the control switching device. Here you can see this waveform we have recorded for the same CSD with the control switching operation. So you can see here the waveform, this continuous waveform is the system voltage waveform, and you can see here at this cursor position we have targeted this point. So here we can see a normal spike is there here and here. So you can see here only normal spike is there. So this is the no load current of the power transformer that we have observed during the charging. So you can see here we have set one cursor here, and due to that automatically at this cursor position it is showing the current value, peak current value, and it is near to 21.62 ampere. So from 2100 ampere we have minimized up to the 20 ampere. So this much, so we have eliminated the inrush current up to this value. So near to 0.003 times we have minimized the inrush current value from the 3 times of the full load current. So you can see here how the control switching operation executed. You can see here, this is the synchronization delay bar graph is generated here. So at the starting of this synchronization delay, CSD received the command, and after that, after calculating all the pre-calculation, CSD executed the command near to this point, near to this predicted breaker operating time. So here the graph is generated. So near to this point, the breaker is getting close. So after few milliseconds, you can observe here there is another one spike is there. This spike is due to the after this much of delay, the Y and B phase gets closed. So we have used here the delayed closing strategy. So after few milliseconds, near to 1.5 cycle, you can observe here the another spike is there. This spike is due to the Y and B phase close. So for the power transformer application, we have reduced the inrush current from 3 times of full load current to the 0.003 pu up to the 0.003 pu. So now we will see the control switching device application for the capacitor bank switching. Same like a power transformer, the main issue with the shunt capacitor banks is also the high inrush current at the time of capacitor bank energization. Shunt capacitor banks are vital on the transmission system as they provide an economic source of reactive power in order to maintain acceptable system voltage level. We are using the capacitor banks in our power system for the stabilization purpose, managing the reactive powers. We are majorly using the capacitor banks. So if, during the random energization of capacitor bank, we have observed the high inrush currents, in the system. So this type of high inrush current causes the disturbance to the other connected system, as well as also it is affecting the power quality of the system. So to minimize this high inrush current during the energization of capacitor bank, we are using the control switching device. So as we have seen for the shunt reactor application, the capacitor bank is also an type of example of capacitive load, and we know that for the capacitive load, in the capacitive load, they opposes the sudden change in system voltage. So in the waveform, you can see if we try to close the capacitor bank near to the voltage peak, it will create the maximum disturbances in the power in our system. So for the for the capacitor bank, we are trying to close the capacitor bank near to the voltage 0. So in this waveform, you can see that without a mitigation technique, a capacitor bank that is randomly energized can generate an inrush current several times the nominal value at high frequency. So as well as significant voltage distortion in the network, which consequently deteriorates the power quality. So to avoid that, we are trying to close the capacitor bank near to the system voltage 0. So for the capacitor bank application, our electrical target points are the system voltage 0 points. So here in the waveform you can see this is a R phase, a Y phase, and the B phase waveform. So here for the capacitor bank application, you can see by taking the reference of R phase waveform, we can take the target angles 0 for the R phase closing, 60 degree for the with reference of R phase only. We can take the reference angle 0, 60, and 120. So if we execute the command by taking the reference of R phase only, we can set the target points, that is the 0 degree, 60 degree, and 120 degree. So at this electrical points, the system voltage for all the three phases is near to the 0 points. So if we close the CB circuit breaker near to this system voltage 0 point, the induced current will be minimum for the closing of capacitor band. So basically, the strategy that we are using for the controlled switching of capacitor bank applications. So from Visimax, we are offering control switching devices for the medium voltage applications, high voltage applications, extra high voltage application, and for the ultra high voltage application. For the extra high voltage and the ultra high voltage applications, we are offering the Synchrotech Plus. This is the Synchrotech Plus model. And for the medium voltage application, we are offering the Synchrotech Lite model. And for the low voltage application, below the 66 kV applications, we are offering the Synchrotech EMV. So these three models that we are offering for the control switching application for the different voltage levels. So now we will move towards, if you have any doubts, and we will move towards our question and answer session. And before that, also we want to share with you that we have regularly sharing the knowledge sharing blogs in our website. That is you can see by visiting our website at www.scopetnmblog.com, where we are sharing our experience, knowledge, and practical experience through the blogs. Now we will see your doubt. We will clear your doubts, and we will see if questions on. Aman sir? Hello? Aman sir? Hello?
Balchandra, I think Aman probably he doesn't seem to be there, but he has answered the questions on the fly. Some of the questions are there. I'm not sure which are probably not answered. So maybe we can take some of the questions. Like there are questions from Mr. Amrit. For minimize the inrush current, can we use a CB with the PIR?
Sir, again, where is the question?
Yeah, the question is, for minimizing the inrush current, can we use circuit breaker having PIR contacts?
Actually, for minimizing the inrush current, PIR that they are using in current system only for the to avoid the problems to the main contacts only. But with PR, we cannot minimize the inrush current. it avoid with the PIR only we can reduce the damage to the main contacts only, but we cannot minimize the induced current value.
Balchandra, you can see the questions on the chat box on the right side.
Another question is from Sai Krishna. Can you explain how PI is operated and applied to CB? So in circuit breaker operation, the PIR contacts are on the same mechanism with the main contacts, but at the time of closing, first the PIR contacts are closed, and then main contacts will get closed. So PIR contacts are with the high resistance. So PIR contacts we are using in the circuit breaker to minimize the damage to our main contacts. So at the time of closing, the PIR contacts will get closed first, and then after smooth sinusoidal current start to flow, then the main contacts will get closed. So there will be a minimum damage to our main contacts, and due to the resistance of PIR contact is more, we can avoid the damage to our main contact system. For capacitor bank, we will make on voltage 0 as per theoretical, but practically if mechanically contact will be changed, then what happened? I think, sir, your question related with the CB operating time. If mechanically contact will be changed, means if mechanically contacts will change, then there will be only the changes in the breaker operating time. So once you change the system or you change the contacts, then we need to again do the timing test on the circuit breaker, so that we can get the reference of the new breaker operating time, and we can set this new breaker operating time we can configure this breaker operating time in the CSD, so that CSD can operate. CSD can execute the command with the right reference. So breaker operating time is the main is the important parameter for the execution of control switching command. So if mechanical contacts will get changed, then we need to do the timing test again. Is there any solution Scope is providing for PIR?
Balchandra, I'll just answer that question. See, yes, as far as PIR is concerned, there is a product called a circuit breaker operation analyzer. And with the help of circuit breaker operation analyzer, you can measure the operation times of the main contacts. You can measure the closing time, and with the opening of the link between the main and PIR contact, you can also check separately the opening of the PIR contact. Additionally, you can also measure the resistance of the PIR contact with the help of the optional PIR resistance measurement module. If you go for the circuit breaker operation analyzer HiSAC Ultima series of Scope, you can get these measurement options for the PIR. There is one question related to the sharing of the presentation. Actually, for all those who had registered their email ID and joined this webinar, they will automatically be getting the link of the replay of this webinar, so they can have the replay of the entire webinar. And that will by default, the link will by default come to you. Balchandra, there is a question from Swati K. Whether bushing sensor can monitor the residual flux in the core on real-time basis. Example given, if the transformer is kept de-energized for a long time, then the residual flux in the core reduces gradually over the period of time. So you can respond to that.
Actually, sir, we will give them reply on this point. Just we need to some.
In fact, Bhalchandra, as far as the bushing residual flux measurement is concerned, it is done in real time, isn't it? And we
Yes,
use
yes.
the bushing type coupler for that, and the measurement is done on the real time, and is employed when we are making the control switching strategy. Yeah. Okay. What is the acceptable voltage level these bushing sensors can be used?
We have the bushing sensor up to the 765 kV system, sir.
Correct. So naturally, on the higher voltage side, you require them. Is there anything that you would like to say about the going down towards the voltage level? I mean, going on the lower side of the voltage level, that it will be really usable up to say only beyond certain voltage level, or nothing like that.
Nothing like that, sir. Just with the bushing sensor, we have the results with the with the every operations. We are sure on that.
Right.
With the fixed angle strategy, we have if any protection operation will happen, we don't know how much the residual flux in the transformer core. So for the next energization after tripping through the protection operation, that time there may be a chance of some inrush current with the fixed setting strategy. But if we are using the bushing sensor, we have the at the if the protection tripping also done, then we have the calculation of reference of the residual flux available in the transformer core. So next energization at the time of next energization, we sure that there will be a no inrush current.
Okay, there is another question from Mr. Bhaskar. Is there any method or kit to remove the residual magnetism from the transformer? For that, at Scope, we have an instrument, transformer winding resistance meter, and it has a facility of demagnetization. So this particular instrument can demagnetize your transformer core. So yes, there is a kit available. There are various models which are available. TRM 25, TRM 50, TRM 25 plus and TRM 50 plus. So there are 4 models, and all of these come equipped with the demagnetization feature, which can be used for taking care of this magnetization of the transformer core. Have a question from Mr. Amrit. Have are using any device for measuring the residual flux or only assuming? Of course, we are using a transducer. It's called as a bushing type coupler, and we are physically measuring the residual flux. It is not assumed. So that is the answer, Mr. Amrit, for your question. There is another question from Mr. Amrit. How will you check the residual flux if we are open the CB when the voltage in peak? How will check residual flux if we are open the CB? Okay. So if you open the CB when the voltage is at the peak, how you will measure the residual flux, or how you will check the residual flux? Any response to that, Bhalchandra?
Yes, sir. If we open the CB at the peak, theoretically we know that at that moment the residual flux in the core will be minimum. Surely it will be minimum with the fixed angle. But with the if we go for the bushing sensor, if near to voltage peak also, if bushing sensor can actually calculate at the time of de-energization what it will be the voltage, and according to that it will calculate the actual residual flux available in the transformer core. But with the fixed setting method, if if we targeting the point of the voltage peak and near to 0.5 millisecond, if the circuit breaker contacts get closed or open, we sure on that the residual flux in the transformer core will be minimum.
Okay, there is a question from Indu Bhushan Srivastava. What is the size of the CSD? Can we retrofit it in the existing circuit breaker control panel, or is it to be installed separately?
No, sir. We can install it in the existing control panel, as in our previous all the installation we have installed in the existing existing control and relay panels only. No need of separate panel.
Right. In fact, most of the cases, will be the cases of retrofitting, where for the current circuit breakers in service, people will be willing to install the control switching device.
Yes, sir.
Can you highlight the size? What is the size?
1 meter, sir. It is the.
I think the height is 6U. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Now 40. For the width, it is 46 centimeter, and for the height, it is 17 centimeters, sir.
Okay.
46 by 17 centimeter.
Okay. Right. Any other question which is left out, or we answered all?
I think we answered also. If gang operated CP are used for the transformer configuration. Another question is from Swati K. ma'am. If gang operated CB are used for the transformer energization, then how does the CSD ensure the mitigation of inrush current? So for the gang operated CB, we have the control. We can control the operation with the reference by targeting the one pole only. So we can try to minimize the inrush current for the gang operated CB, but we cannot completely minimize it, because we cannot individually operate all the three poles, and we cannot control Y and B pole, but we can target the R pole, and we can open and close the R pole at a precise electrical movement, and we can minimize the inrush current. That inrush current surely less than the operation without any control switching device. We have observed that for the gang operated CB in the medium voltage applications, it is near to the 7 to 8 times without any mitigation technique, that is without using CSD. But by using CSD, we are minimized up to the 2 to 3 times of the below the 2 times of the full load current. So we have surely minimized the inrush current for the gang operated CB also by targeting one pole only.
Right. So I think we had answered all the questions, and we had just overshooted our time by maybe 5 minutes. So if there are no more questions to be answered, I think we can conclude this particular session. I just put the email ID. In case any one of you wish to contact us, you can contact us on marketing@scopetnm.com. So this is our common email ID. Let me just tell you which is the next webinar that we are going to conduct. We are going to conduct the next webinar on third harmonic leakage current measurement, compensations and analysis. So basically, you all probably will be aware that we are using the third harmonic resistive leakage current measurement, or it is also called as a LCM, leakage current meter, for monitoring the leakage current of the surge arresters in order to assess the healthiness of the surge arresters. So this next webinar is going to be on 31st of October, that is 2 weeks from today. I request you all to join us to get the insights on this assessment of the health of the surge arresters. As far as the other webinar series for the users of Scope instruments is concerned, the next one will be on November 6th and that is again going to be on the third harmonic leakage current measurement, which will be conducted by our customer support group. But that will be more focusing on the usage of the instruments, the do's and don'ts, the precautions to be taken, how to read and interpret the results, analyze the results. So it is more for the users of the instrument, whereas the one which is going to take place on 31st of October is going to dwell more on the theory aspect and the measurement aspects. So, Bhalchandra, thank you very much for giving a very clear and engaging presentation. Aman, Sanket, thank you very much for being at the background. And if there are any more questions, do write to us. We'll be more than happy to respond. There is also a link which is popping up at the top for the feedback forms. Kindly fill the feedback form so that we understand what you expect from us. If there are any specific feedbacks, do mention into that. Not necessarily only the